Hello Reds, and welcome to Top of the Cop, and welcome to a new series on the channel called the LFC Transfer Talk, where we're going to dive into all the latest rumours surrounding Liverpool's transfer news. It's going to be a no-hold-bars series, so we're not going to talk about FSG not stumping up the cash or worries over the rumoured fee for the player. We're just going to give you the latest transfer rumours across the globe. And yeah, we've got 5 tasty transfers that have been mentioned in the last few weeks, or should I say the last few days, that Liverpool could potentially be in for a few new players. And as any transfer roundup or rumours, videos or articles that you watch, take it all with a pinch of salt, and just let me know in the comments what you think about each individual signing. If you'd like them at Liverpool, you think they improved the obviously team. And with that being said, let's get into it, Reds. Now, first up on the list is West Ham's Jarrod Bowen. Now, the 25-year-old has apparently expressed his eagerness to join Liverpool in the summer, and he's been doing well in the Premier League for West Ham, and apparently Jurgen is also a known admirer of the winger, and reports suggest that it'd be in the region of £50 million for him. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Jarrod Bowen's having an okay season so far. I think the media hype is a little bit over the top when it comes to his performances. Yes, he is scoring goals. Yes, he is doing okay, but it's not to the extent of the media are putting out there, in my personal opinion. I felt when Liverpool played West Ham, even though they beat us, I felt like Oxlade-Chamberlain had in his pockets. I think he played right centre mid or right wing at the time, and Chamberlain was left centre mid, and every time they came into a duel, 50-50, one or the other taking each other on, Ox came on top most of the time. And as a Liverpool fan, I like Ox, and I know there's a lot of people out there who don't. So if you're thinking he's an upgrade on certain players, for me he's not. But yeah, reported 50 million for the English international, and if he obviously gets his England call up, which is expected over the next week or two, that price is only going to inflate. But let me know down in the comments what you think, Jarrod Bowen, if he would be a great signing for Liverpool. Now, next up is Leeds United central midfielder Kalvin Phillips. The El Nacional newspaper in Spain are reporting that Liverpool have made a £33 million bid for the England international, and also there are reports suggesting that Kalvin Phillips has had rifts with Bielsa, and I think maybe that's kind of where it all stems from. He wasn't too happy when he got subbed off against Brighton at half time, and a lot of newspapers and articles have been linking Kalvin Phillips with a move in the summer. Now, if you had to ask me last season would I want Kalvin Phillips, I would have been a stern no. I didn't see him improve in our midfield. I always felt that even when he was at England with the Euros, again, I just thought there was a bit of a media hype around him and Rice. I always thought Rice was the most crucial part of that midfield, and I always thought that Kalvin Phillips was, like the one that could maybe give way for your Bellinghams, your Hendersons. But going into this season, with our injury crisis still happening in the midfield and our over-aging midfield, at £33 million, I think Kalvin Phillips is a massive upgrade on certain players in our team. And when you think about it, he would be like a James Milner replacement, because the reports are that this is like the last season for James Milner. It would make a lot of sense, that he would be either leaving Liverpool or at least bringing his playing career to a close. And he can play in a range of positions. He can play obviously centre mid, centre defensive mid. He's played centre back for Leeds this season, so that versatility is similar to obviously again what Milner was like, so it would be kind of like a replacement for him, and I'm sure his wages would be a lot less than what Milner's on now. And when you think about injuries to the likes of Thiago, Keita, and how much they've cost us this season, Kalvin Phillips, he's 25, 26? He's bringing that youth into our aging midfield, as obviously we talked about in previous, over previous videos and previous weeks. And his high defensive work rate is, it's really good. And I love Henderson, but he could even come in for Henderson when Henderson having a dip in form. And we need a backup. We need a starter. We need somebody who's going to come into our midfield, and when the likes of Henderson's out or injured, or Keita, your Fabinhos, your Thiagos, when one of those players are out, our drop-off is massive at the moment in the quality of our midfield. So Kalvin Phillips, I'm not saying he would be a backup, he would potentially be on a rotation basis with the rest of our midfield, slowly integrated, but he brings you that bit of stability in the back, because after Fabinho we haven't got a defensive mid. He can play there, he can also play left centre mid, right centre mid, he can create, and yeah, I think it'd be astute to buy if Jurgen Klopp was to bring him to Liverpool this summer. Now, next up on the list is someone I've covered on this channel. In fact, he was in my top 5 defenders that I'd like Liverpool to sign. He was number 1. I really rate this guy, and that's Jules Kounde from Sevilla. Now, he's been linked with a move to Chelsea in the past, but apparently Liverpool are also in for him, and apparently there's a £75 million release clause that has got the attention of Liverpool, Chelsea and Real Madrid. Now, I cannot speak highly enough of obviously this kid. I think he's amazing. His work rate, his versatility, his professionalism, and he's been on Sevilla's books now for a couple of years. He's probably one of their best players, but with a £75 million release clause, that's easily met by a lot of teams nowadays, and I think he would be interested in a move to the Premier League, and what more so than Liverpool. Now, he's down at Sevilla as a centre back, but he can also play right back. I've seen him play for right back for Sevilla, and I think it might be a kind of versatility buy that would suit us in the long run. So we've obviously got Trent at right back, but he can play there as well if Trent's injured. And when I look at our centre backs, Matip and Van Dijk, and obviously Konate are playing well now, but the rumours around Joe Gomez wanting to move on, I'm not too sure I agree with that, unless we're going to replace him with somebody like, a 23-year-old French international that's, pulling up trees for Sevilla in European football and obviously La Liga. And, although Matip's having a great season, you don't know what his longevity is going to be like. And, yeah, I do think £75 million is a bit of a steep release clause for him, but I do think he'd be worth every penny. And if you're looking to consolidate some wages, getting a few players off the books, including a few defenders, and bringing Kounde in, who obviously can cover centre back and obviously right back, I think it'd be a great bit of business for Liverpool, and I would love nothing more to see him pull on a red shirt next season. Let me know down in the comments if you know much about him. Let me know if you want him to join Liverpool, and yeah, I think he'd be a great buy. Next up from the El Nacional newspaper again in Spain is apparently that Eduardo Camavinga, 19-year-old French superstar, is currently considering his future at Real Madrid. Apparently he's only started 7 out of the 26 games this season, and he's concerned about his position at the Bernabeu. The reports are that Real will sell him for €55 million, and he was linked with Liverpool before he headed to Spain. Now, don't get me wrong, again, he's another one. I made the video on 5 defenders, I made a video on 5 midfielders, and Camavinga was one of those midfielders that I'd really have loved Liverpool to sign when he was in France, because he would have been a lot cheaper. Now, if Liverpool were to stump up to €55 million, again, I think it'd be great business. He's defensive midfielder. He would be cover and obviously learn from Fabinho within obviously a year to 18 months of potential of obviously, being a regular in the team. And at 19 years old, he's got 10, 15 years in him, depending on injuries and obviously things like that. He would be worth every penny, when you think about it. And yet it would be a bit of a shame that we didn't pick him up before he joined Real, but I do believe that his whole, he wanted to join Real Madrid since he was a kid, but apparently he's not enjoying it so much no more. So would I like to see him in a Liverpool shirt? 100%. It brings the age of our midfield dramatically down, and also he's got perfect balance because he's obviously young, between obviously being a rotational player, learning from obviously the players around him, and potentially putting a foot into the first team on a regular basis. It'd be an astute bit of business by Liverpool if we were to get it over the line. Anyway, let me know down in the comments if you think he'd be a good buy for Liverpool. I personally think he do. It'd be interesting to see what you think. And finally, on today's transfer rumours, the Daily Star reporting that Erling Haaland is obviously being told by Dortmund that he's got to, decide on his future, whether he wants to sign a new contract or whether he's moving on. He said something along the lines of he's never talked about his future just out of respect for Dortmund, but now Dortmund are pushing him to make a decision on his future. And he also went on to say so his future is going to rapidly be concluded over the next few months. And yet the 21-year-old will have a release clause of around 64 million, and Liverpool have been tipped to be in the race for him, let's just say. And apparently Mo Salah wants Liverpool to make some significant signings before he puts pen to paper on his new deal, and it kind of would make sense if obviously the contract's there, the contract length, and obviously the fee and everything like that is fine. And if he has turned around to Liverpool and says that he wants us to sign some players, it would make sense why that obviously he hasn't put pen to paper yet. And if it means obviously waiting till the summer to see if we sign some big names, Erling Haaland would, I'm sure, would get that over the line. And Haaland is one of the hottest properties in European football alongside Mbappe, and I'd love to see him in the Premier League. I'd love Liverpool to sign him. He's got that perfect balance between an out-and-out number 9 and also a striker that can drop in and obviously pick up the ball the way Firmino does, and I think he'd fit absolutely perfect in obviously our centre of our attack with Mane and Salah either side of him. He'd link up well, and he's very unselfish for a striker, even though he scores so many goals. You're forever seeing him slotting the people in, dropping back, building a play, and he doesn't hold on to the ball too much. He would be a perfect Liverpool number 9. He'd fit straight into the formation that we play. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of Reds would love Erling Haaland at Liverpool. Anyway, let me know down in the comments below what you think. Also, the 5 transfers, the rumours that are brought today, let me know who you'd like and who you wouldn't out of the 5 in the comments below. I'll try my best to get through as many comments as I can. And if you did like this series, let me know by hitting that like button, because obviously I want to bring more video, more content to these. And although these are rumours, they do bring some intriguing topics on obviously signings for Liverpool. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Subscribe for more LFC related transfer news and obviously debates that I do bring to the channel. And until next time, take care, Reds.